Hello everybody, Styx here at the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and today we have one centered around the Mega Mewtwo Y EX with the Psychic Infinity attack for double colorless, 10 base, and does 30 more damage times the number of damage on your opponent's times the number of energy on this active Pokemon and your opponent's active Pokemon. So it builds up damage really quickly, and even with just a DCE, you're automatically hitting for 70. So it's a very powerful attack that can really just pick up steam very quickly. And if you guys enjoyed this, please drop a like, drop a comment, maybe subscribe if you haven't yet. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into the actual deck. Now, I've seen a ton of variations for this deck on how to get the energy onto the Mewtwo onto the bench, and I decided to try something a little bit different and go with the baby Xerneas route with Geomancy to get energy onto the bench, and then Aromatisse to move the energy around. Now, the only problem is you won't be able to use any of Little Mewtwo EX's attacks because they require psychic energy, but the energy acceleration is nice enough that once you are able to get a Mega Mewtwo up, you can just start hitting really hard immediately, and also it's very flexible with how you can move energy around. That way you don't lose all of your energy at once if your active Pokemon does get knocked out. As for support Pokemon, we are using one Lugia just because Arrow Ball fits in perfectly with the synergy of this deck. I mean, the moving around of energy to get just the amount of damage you need is perfect for Arrow Ball, so that's why that's in here. 2 Shaman because Shaman. 2 line of Spritzy and Aromatisse because you really only need one at a time. And also this deck is a little bit heavier on Pokemon to begin with, so I didn't want to clog it up by running too many of these. A 3 line of the Baby Xerneas just because you really want to start with that almost always. 1 Hoopa just to try to get the Mewtwo and Shaman and Lugia out. Basically more to just get the Mewtwo out, that way you can start Geomancing onto it. 3 line of the Mewtwo and Mega Mewtwo. We are running one of these Mewtwo just in case you need to use the Photon Wave for whatever reason, like if you just get horrible luck and can't get a Mega Mewtwo out. Then, I mean, you can technically attack with this, although if you're forced to attack with this, then you're pretty much screwed as is. And then, obviously, running 3 Mega Mewtwo's. As for the items, we are running 2 Level Ball to get the Spritzy and Aromatisse out. Those are literally the only things that are affected by Level Ball. So, I mean, really, it's just kind of discard fodder once you're able to get them out. 3 Mega Turbos. That way you can further accelerate onto the Mega Mewtwo and just make it more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Yes, that was a Star Wars reference. 1 Professor's Letter to get 2 energy. There we go. That way, if you're kind of stuck and for whatever reason don't get energy, you can immediately just Professor's Letter and slap an energy onto something. More often than not, you'll want it first turn to find energy for the Xerneas. Gonna want to run 1 Super Rod just in case we happen to run out of Spritzy and Aromatisse just to get them back in the deck, and if you load up a Mewtwo and it gets knocked out, then you don't automatically lose a ton of energy because you do have a method of putting it back into the deck. 1 Switch just in case very early game you end up with something unfavorable in the lead spot and you want to just get that out of there. 3 Ultra Balls just because Ultra Balls and you want to get everything else out. 3 VS Seekers for pulling up former supporters. 2 Lysander because I really just like the 2 Lysander, 3 Birch, 3 Sycamore, 1 Skyla line of supporters. I mean, that's generally what I go with just because it seems to work and you almost always seem to have what you need when you need it. And 1 Teammates just because with this deck you will want to be using Xerneas' Geomancy until it gets knocked out. So by that time, hopefully you will have at least 4 energy in play, and then you can Teammates for like a Mewtwo Spirit Link and a Mega Mewtwo, or basically whatever you need in order to get a Mewtwo powered up and attacking. 3 Fairy Garden, just because we will be running Fairy Energy in this deck, so Free Treat is nice. That's why the Switch seems a little redundant, but the Switch is only there for early game. 3 Mega Mewtwo Spirit Links, just because, I mean, there's no reason to run any more or any less. 1 Muscle Band for the Lugia, just because I don't like Headringer. That's a big problem, so having a item that basically counts as an energy on Lugia is really nice. 3 DCEs, because, I mean, you don't necessarily need the DCEs in this deck, but every single attacker benefits from it, so why not just throw a couple in there for an automatic plus 60 on Mewtwo and plus 40 with Lugia, and then 9 Fairy Energy because those will be the energy acceleration and the engine that this deck will be running around. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against a Kredzy with, might be a Lucario Bats, might be a Mega Mewtwo X Bats, who knows. But anyway, we do get to call the coin flip. We do win the coin flip. Now, I think I do want to go first, just because, I mean, while this deck does not mind going second because of Geomancy, being able to get things to start out first is always nice, especially when your start is like this, because, I mean, it could be worse. I could, I do have a Fairy Garden and a Fairy Energy, so I will be able to retreat into whatever, so that's nice, and also makes going first a little bit more tolerable just because I'm not losing an attack by attaching to the Spritzy, and could be worse, but also could be a lot better. Let's see what my opponent is starting out with. It looks like, yep, they are just running a Mewtwo, so okay, so this looks to be a Mewtwo, Mega Mewtwo X deck, yeah. So I'm just going to Shaman, see if I can get something else, and I do not, so I'm just immediately going to have to Birch's Observations. Hopefully get a Heads, yes we do, get something to start with. Oh, that's nice, that's a lot nicer than the initial start, so what I am going to immediately do is play down, and then I'm not going to play the Mewtwo just yet, just because I don't want to get them head-ringered or something like that. So I am just going to immediately retreat into the Xerneas, and I think I am just going to end my turn. I don't know, I kind of want to play one Mewtwo down just because, just in case like he has a Judge or something like that. That way I still have a Mewtwo down for next turn. So yeah, that's how we are starting. We have a Xerneas out, that's the perfect one for us. Looks like he is running Shrine of Memories, and okay, this is a Mega Mewtwo Lucario deck, that's interesting. And he's basically loading up with EXs at this point, so this is kind of nice for us, because we will just be able to start hitting stuff for a ton of damage after he gets a knockout on the Xerneas. And basically, he will have to knock out multiple Pokemon this turn, or this game rather, because normally with EXs you just have to knock out 3 to get 6 cards, but you will also additionally have to knock out a Xerneas plus 3 EXs unless you can catcher out the Aromatisse, which could be easy catcher bait, but I'm kind of hoping that that's not what happens at all. But I mean, you really can't control what happens, so you just kind of gotta go with it. But yeah, my opponent is going to Karina, grab another Lucario. Yeah, this, like, my opponent has a great start, but I think we have one that we can work with too. And what are they running Heavy Ball for? Is there... This is very interesting. I want to see what they grab, because I have not seen this combination. So it's like, wait, is this a Golurk Lucario? What? This is an interesting deck, to say the least. I mean, I'm not knocking it, because I mean, look at his setup. I mean, that's either really lucky or the deck is just that consistent. But all right, we do get that. We can play the Mewtwo, the other Mewtwo down, and then I will Ultra Ball for a Aromatisse. Yes, indeed, just because I want to make sure to get that this turn. And then I'm going to go ahead and Sycamore, get a fresh new hand. And we even get a Spirit Link, so that's kind of nice, and a Muscle Band. We don't need it right now, but what I can do is immediately Fairy Transfer, put this onto this Mewtwo, and then that'll be it for this turn. Yeah, so do I have any in the discard pile? No, I do not. So what I am going to do is just go ahead and Geomancy, put one on this and one on this. So yeah, let's get these energy going and onto my Pokemon. Alrighty, and that's our turn. We have 4 energy in play right now. We will probably be able to get more. Hopefully we will be able to get more. Alright, he does have the Mega Mewtwo, and he does have the Golurk, so this will be an interesting match, to say the least. Because he will be able to Psychic Infinity. I think if he has another energy, he will be able to get the KO on my Xerneas this turn, and so I will have to start just kind of attacking. If he has an energy, he'll get the KO, but then I'll be able to hit with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 180, 190. Ooh, that is not quite enough. What I can do is just hope that I can get a Mega Turbo going, because that will be the only chance I really have to get a Mega Mewtwo out, and that's probably what I'm going to go for. I'm going to VS Seeker for a... What I could do is, depending on what I get this turn, if I get a DCE right now, then I will just Skyla Ultra Ball away the Fairy Energy and go from there, because then I'll be able to Mega Turbo, and I do not, unfortunately. So what I am going to have to do is immediately Sycamore away. Do I really want to Sycamore away everything? I think I have to. Yeah, so I'm just going to Sycamore away. I mean, that was a good hand. I wish I got DCE off that. And I do, and I get a teammate, so that's nice. And what I can do is play this right here. Attach this Mewtwo Spirit Link right here. Play this Mewtwo right here, and then so I will have 6. I'll have 6 damage, 7. Oh, I think I will be able to knock this Mega Mewtwo out, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I will be able to knock it out this turn. And then let's go for a Fairy Transfer. Put this onto there, and then I will be able to... No, I don't. Oh, that's right. I have to click out of the Fairy Transfer. And then I'm just going to immediately go for a Psychic Infinity to knock out this Mega Mewtwo and basically kill all of his energy on the field right now. So we will draw 2 cards, get a Super Rod and a VS Seeker. I think I have a Lysander, so that would be perfect. I can Lysander up the Mewtwo or the Lucario. He's just setting up his Hoopa right now as death fodder. Basically, this turn I am using it to figure out what I want to try to attack. Looks like I'm going to have to go for the Golurk, honestly, because I don't want him to be able to knock me out. And he does. Okay, he just goes for that Mewtwo. What I am going to go ahead and do is play this energy onto this Mewtwo on the bench. What is he? How much HP does Golurk have? So that's 120. I just need 4. So I'm going to Fairy Transfer the Fairy Energy onto this one. That way I don't lose everything when I knock out the Golurk. Hold on, I just have to make sure. You know, just to be safe, I'm going to keep 1 on the Mewtwo. I think my math is right, but I don't want to screw myself over with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Lysander, bring in the Golurk. It only gets 1 prize when I could have gotten 2 this turn, but it is worth it to get that DCE off the field and just force my opponent to have something else going, especially because I have a ton of energy in play right now, and I even get a Mega Turbo. So my opponent does just concede right there. This deck, while it is kind of interesting because you can't attack at all with the baby Mewtwo, the Mega Mewtwo, you were able to get so much energy in and move it around, because as you could see right there, I was able to knock out a Golurk and still have enough energy on the Mewtwo on the bench in case something went wrong and I had to have, you know, I just had to have a backup attacker so I didn't lose all of my energy. But yeah, we were able to do 380 damage. But yeah, that's kind of what the deck is. Just get energy out, let Xerneas die, and then just start killing stuff. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get one more match with this deck. Alrighty, we have found one against Carlos Zoso with... doesn't look like he's running a Shaman at all in his deck, so this should be interesting. He has the cool Lucario coin. I want one of those. I can't figure out where to get one. I mean, I probably could if I actually tried to figure it out, but that would also require effort, and everybody knows I am incredibly lazy. So we do win the coin flip. Yes, we would like to go first. If last match was any indication, going first is almost always helpful. What do I want to start with? So what I'm going to do actually is start with the Lugia. This is actually a pretty bad hand to start off with because you get rid of a level ball, 2 Mega Turbos, and boy, I don't like this start much at all because I kind of wish I had a Birch, that way I could get stuff back in my hand, but unfortunately I do not, and I even get a Xerneas, so what I can try to do is I have to Sycamore. This sucks. I have to get rid of 2 Mega Turbos, and that is not something I wanted to do. I can just go for Professor's Letter, get, and then Ultra Ball away 2 of these. Yes. To grab a Shaman and Hope. Yes, I would like to grab a Shaman. Oh, what I should have grabbed was a Hoopa. But it's not that big of a deal because then I can just go for this. And I even get a Birch for next turn. So I think with that, I'm just going to end my turn. I kind of want to get a Mewtwo out. That way I can try to get a Spirit Link on it or something. But if I do get a... No, I guess I would have to get a Muscle Band and an Energy in order to KO a Zubat. But he will just be able to hit me for a Missile Jab for 30 this turn. Not that huge of a deal. I mean, it's just 30 damage. And hopefully I will get an Aromatisse or something next turn. I do get a Sycamore. I do not want to do that at all. Not off to the best start, and we even get Tails, so that's a bit unfortunate. But what I can do is go ahead and play the Muscle Band onto the Lugia and play the Fairy Energy onto it as well, then grab an Aromatisse. That way I can be able to move my energy around. And yeah, I'll be able to hit for 80 this turn and KO him next turn if he wants to slap another energy on there and try to Corkscrew Smash. I think the only way he can KO me is if he gets like Golbat, 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 and then goes for something else. But okay, he does get a Golbat, and then yeah, if he gets, okay, so he does get, I really don't think he can KO me this turn. Like, he'll have to have, yeah, I was about to say he'd have to have a ton of stuff in order to be able to KO me this turn. But alright, we do get a Mega Mewtwo. Don't need to see that at all. Finally we get ahead, so that's nice. Maybe I'll be able to get a Mewtwo set up. I'm able to put this there, play the energy onto the Xerneas, and I'm gonna wait until next turn before I go for the Fairy Garden, just because I don't need it this turn, and my opponent could just counter it, and also I kind of want to win the Stadium War just because. And then let's go for an Arrow Ball this turn, knock out the Lucario, draw 2 more cards, and hopefully get something we can work with. We can't work with either of those, really. But what I can do is slap the... Okay, so if he doesn't have a Crobat, I can slap the DCE onto this Mewtwo, Fairy Transfer this energy onto... Let's see. Fairy Transfer the energy onto the Lugia, and... What can I do? Okay, so he is just trying to knock out my Lugia this way. So he has to have a strong energy in order to be able to knock me out with a Missile Jab this turn. Or he just has a bunch of stuff. Wow. So, I mean, Lugia will go down. It doesn't look like my opponent's able to knock me out. I mean, he could just be setting up everything and then just be kind of giggling in the background like he has no idea. And so that would suck. But it doesn't look like he does. So what I am going to do is play the DCE. I want to KO something this turn kind of with the Lugia. But I also want to kind of keep some energy going. But I think the best option this turn is to, let's see. I think the best option this turn is to simply Lysander in a Zubat and KO it with an Arrow Ball. That's probably, because that way I'm down to 3 prizes, and it's basically just the best option, because Lugia will go down regardless, most likely, so I kind of want to keep that just as an option, and then if Crobat comes in, I can just play my Fairy Garden and go for probably try to get a Mega Mewtwo next turn. He will be able to get rid of the Lugia, but that will be a... I will have taken 3 prizes by then, and he will have only taken 2. Or, I mean, if he doesn't... Okay, so he will be able to knock out my Lugia this turn. So, yeah, there goes 2 of my energy, but I think it will have been worth it. Just because of all of that stuff that is going on. I kind of want to send out... I'm going to send out my Xerneas just because I don't think there's any way he can knock that out, and I do have a Fairy Garden in hand. So I will be able to... And he gets Tails on that, luckily. So he can't just spread damage around. He will be able to Missile Jab this turn, so that's a bit unfortunate. What I can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would need another DCE in order to be able to attack with the Mega Mewtwo next turn. So what I think I am going to just do, let's see, what can I need a DCE to be able to knock out the Lucario, and do I want to go for that? I really think I might, just because I can also get a Mega Turbo next turn as well. So what I am going to do is just go ahead and Sycamore, hopefully get a Mewtwo Spirit Link and a Mega Mewtwo. I do not get either, so that's really, really unfortunate. But what I can do is go ahead and Ultra Ball. Do I want to Super Rod anything back in? I kind of want to Super Rod the Lugia just because that's resistant to Lucario as well. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and Super Rod back in a couple energy, 1 energy, and a Lugia, and 1 more energy. Just because I don't want to run out. And then I can go ahead and Ultra Ball to grab... I can Ultra Ball to grab another Mewtwo, I think. Just so I can have backup attackers. Or I can grab the Lugia and then play this there, and then play the energy onto the Mewtwo, and then go for a Geomancy this turn, and then play 1 and 1. That way I can do that, and that get a lot of energy out on the field. He will be able to KO my Xerneas, but this was why I wanted to get all of that going so quickly and take the prize lead early, because I knew I would eventually have to get a little more setup just because of the way this deck works. And what did he discard? He discarded another Lucario, it looked like. But hopefully he won't be able to scoop up his bats, because that will just kind of blow. He does get another Crobat out, so that will probably be targeting this Mewtwo now, because he doesn't want that to build up too much. I do just need a Mega Mewtwo and a Spirit Link in order to be able to start wrecking everything. Like, if I can get that, I do have a Sycamore in my... Or he's going for the Shaman, it looks like. He gets Super Scoop Up, he does get Heads, so he will be able to do some more damage next turn. He will also be able to KO the Xerneas, so I need to watch out for that a little bit, but I think I will be okay just because I have enough energy in play to start just taking everything else out. He is level balling. Nope, he can't get anything, it doesn't look like, because he has a Crobat in his hand. He will be able to knock out my Xerneas this turn, but again, that's not that big of a deal because I do have a Fairy Garden in play, and I can just promote this Mewtwo, hopefully get a Mega Mewtwo off of it, off of a Sycamore or a Mewtwo Spirit Link. Get another Fairy Garden, don't really need that. What I can do is just play, let's see, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that wouldn't KO the Lucario. What I can do is just play this onto the Lugia, and then I really hope I get it off of... Actually, what I can do is grab a Teammates to make sure that I get the Mewtwo and the Mewtwo Spirit Link, so let's grab that. And this is why I run the Mewtwo Spirit Link, just because stuff like this happens and I need to be able to hit back immediately. Alright, let's just do that, and then that's 6. Yeah, I should have more than enough to KO the Lucario, go for the Psychic Infinity. It's not affected by weakness, which is the unfortunate part, but we still are able to KO it. And there's my Hoopa and another DCE. So next turn I will be able to win pretty much regardless, I think. I don't think there's any way he can one-shot me with no energy in play and nothing else out there. I have a DCE in hand. Even if he manages to like judge me out of something, I'm able to just immediately hit back. He will be able to hit me for, I think, 100 this turn, so I will be at 120. But next turn, I will just completely KO whatever he has out. That's why I took the prize on the Zubat early, so I didn't have to try to Lysander and EXs later in the game. He does get a Scorched Earth. I don't think that's going to help him at this point, just because, I mean, I have way too much going on. Yeah, that's it. And what I am just going to do this turn, just for overkill, just to see how much damage we can get going, so I am going to do that. Play the Fairy Transfer. My opponent's probably just going to concede because I'm being kind of a jerk here. But you know what? I just want to do as much damage as I possibly can. And then let's Mega Turbo onto the Mewtwo and go for the Psychic Infinity for the game. Let's see how much damage we did. And we did 310 damage. Oh my goodness, that was more overkill than we needed. Hey, there's another Mewtwo Spirit Link. But yeah, this deck actually seemed to work pretty well. I was kind of skeptical of it because it wasn't running any Psychic Energy and the Mewtwo EX was essentially wasted, but it was able to accelerate energy fast, and you were able to move it around with Aromatisse. So we did 740 damage, half of it came on that last attack. But yeah, that is the deck, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.